Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Joining me on Open Conversation this morning is Asim Adams, Esquire. Asim Adams is a legal practitioner, he's a human rights advocate, and he is the convener of Lawyers Without Borders. Good morning, Asim, and welcome.
Good morning to you, Malaysia, and good morning, Nigerians.
And on to the story. Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma has pledged to deliver Abia State for President Bola Tinubu and All Progressive Congress in the 2027 general elections. He made the vow in Umuahia while inaugurating coordinators of the Renewed Hope Ambassadors, Tinubu's key political structure in Abia State. Represented by the Minister of State for Labour, Nkiruka Onyejocha, Uzodinma said Tinubu deserves a second term to consolidate reforms, stressing that the Renewed Hope agenda is a commitment to economic recovery, workers' welfare and grassroots development. APC leaders at the event, including Abia Coordinator Chief Henry Iko and former Senator Nkechi Nwogu, expressed confidence that the party would win Abia in 2027, citing growing defections, improved federal allocations, and renewed mobilization across the state. What do you make of this story, Sim Adams?
There's nothing to make out of it. It's just a political talk. And it's a careless talk anyway, very flamboyant.
Why do you call it a careless talk?
Extravagant talk. What I'm saying is the careless talk is that you cannot say you deliver Abia State or any state for President Tinubu in an election that you are not the one to determine the winner. You are not the one to determine who will vote for a particular candidate. So if you are now giving that baptismal, right to say that I will deliver, Abia State to the president, it means that you have already written the results, as the case may be, in an election that is about 8 months away or thereabout. I mean, the election is about a year away or thereabout. You see, Nigerian politicians just want to talk when they climb that podium. That is why you find that it was Mario Kumbo that said politicians talk and campaign in poetry, but they govern in prose. In this kind of situation, Hope Uzodinma cannot even deliver Imo State to Tinubu except the election is rigged. As I speak with you, the people are disillusioned, with his administration in Imo State. The few that, have, some regard for him and his admin are just those who are loyal to him and those who are eating from his kitchen. He has a burden, a yoke, which he has not been able to discharge. I'm not very sure he will discharge that yoke from his neck for eternity. The yoke of being the Supreme Court governor. Because this is the first time in the history of, elections or hierarchy of candidates that won elections, that the fourth positioned candidate will now become number one. It's only in Bible, biblical, prophecies. I mean,
that the last becomes
the last will now, the least will now become whatever as case may be. You shall not be the tail, shall be the head. Maybe we conjured, he went to meet Christ, or he met a prophet like St. John's, etc., that had to do that for him. Because in this case, it was like biblical miracle. I would say the fourth now becoming the first. But in our very eyes and our mortal eyes, for us, abracadabra, it's magic. It's voodoo, as the case may be. So he has a yoke, and people are not able forgiving him. A lot of people are not happy that Hope Uzodinma replaced Emeka Ihedioha, as the case may be in Imo State. Then talk less of a state like Abia State, where the governor there, if it was even Governor Oti that made such statements, I would have said, okay, maybe based on his performance and the likable character that he is as his persona, I can say with a pinch of salt, okay, yes,
I'm trying to understand, one, how they're paying Governor of a state, Barrister Sims.
See, there's no much to be said about this whole thing. The works of Alex speaks for itself. I said I'm not from that state, but from visuals and
what you've heard.
I've been to Umahia recently. I think I've been to
Aba. You traveled to Aba Road, right?
Yes, I've traveled. So I've been to Aba. I could say, that if I even say that, when I went to Enugu the other day, there's this way we normally pass it through Aba, straight to Enugu. You can see that
Aba Port Harcourt Express.
Port Harcourt Express Road. That road was very bad before, and we used to go through what is it called?
Iboeche.
But right now we can drive straight. From here to Enugu is not up to 3-4 hours or more than anymore. So these are visible things that are there we have seen, and the visuals we are seeing, emanating from that place, are good ones that are resonating across the lands.
All right.
So that is what campaign is all about. The campaign is show me what you have done, then I'll vote for you. Now, if it says the scorecard is this is what I've done, let the other people who are contesting
show their
own scorecards. They have nothing to give. I'm telling you that they are going to give audio achievements, like they are talking about in the other states, bordering on, the southeast, or bordering on Abia State, as the case may be.
Yes.
And the president, must also know that it's even worse for him now, because let me tell you something. The president cannot even, the southeast is almost a no-go area for him. He has to know that. Forget all this gerrymandering these governors are just trying to do, and the southeast governors are trying to say and do whatever. The area called southeast is the area President Buhari scored the lowest of all marks the last time. Same with Tinubu in the last election. So in this election, I don't know the magic they are going to do that we will upgrade the people and make them begin to cast their vote, that we get Tinubu majority votes in those.
Well, don't you think that would be? Don't you think that would be largely dependent on the candidates that will be contesting the presidential seats?
The candidates in this instance.
Yes.
The candidates in this instance, we already know them. There's no need for us to deceive ourselves. Atiku Abubakar for ADC, Tinubu for APC. I don't know whether Peter Obi will run back to PDP or whatever it's going to be.
Or Labour Party.
Or Labour Party. I don't know, but it's Atiku Abubakar that will win the ADC, whatever, and he will pick Amici as his vice. It has been arranged. Forget all these things people are doing. This thing has been arranged already. Atiku cannot build a party for you and you say
leave it for someone else.
For someone else to come and take over the place. It's not possible. That party belongs to him, and he's the one. Except it is his voice, choosing. He can say, "I don't want it" or whatever. But the moment he says he needs it, he's going to get it. Then the plan they have is that forget. Amici will go and buy form, which they will refund to him back. They refund to him. Then they will now make him vice presidential candidate to Atiku Abubakar. That is what he's looking for. Otherwise, Atiku Abubakar is there. Obi is just wasting his time in ADC. To my own best knowledge, the feelers are very clear. Let him retrace his step right now, and go. He can even go to NDP. He can even go to any political party and let the obedience follow him there. But in ADC, it will be difficult. Even if he wins the ticket in ADC, let me tell you this: there are so many spoilers in ADC that will spoil his ambition and his whatever he wants to do there. There are those with what we call bad belly that want to bring him down. So these are people who are hungry for power. So let's leave that particular aspect. And go back to Abia State. Abia State, the man is there. So there's no coalition that can even erase what Oti has done. No matter how they come together and form coalitions, they cannot win Abia State. They cannot win Abia State. I repeat, with affirmative zest. They cannot. It's difficult for them to do that because the work speaks for itself. Right. It's not something of poetry or prose. It's there, as the case may be. Reality dawned on all of us, and we've seen it. So we need more of the likes
of Alex
Oti in other states come 2027, so that Nigeria will be a better place for us.
All right.
That's just it.
All right, moving ahead. Bolaji Abdullahi, spokesperson of the African Democratic Congress, has berated President Bola Tinubu over Nigeria's worsening security situation, insisting that the country is drifting without effective leadership. Abdullahi was reacting to a recent post by President Tinubu on Boko Haram attacks in the northeast. He recalled a tweet made by Tinubu on September 9, 2014, which read, "The festering Boko Haram attacks on the northeast and massacre of innocent citizens is concrete proof that Nigeria has no government." Responding with the same words, Abdullahi said the situation has deteriorated under Tinubu's watch, tweeting, "The festering insecurity and violent attacks in Kwara, Katsina, and other parts of the country, and massacre of innocent Nigerians is concrete proof that Nigeria has no government," thereby expanding the criticism beyond the northeast to insecurity nationwide. Barrister Sims, what do you make of this story?
You see, these politicians just, say things to hit up politics and as the case may be. This Bolaji Ahmed or whatever, was he not the man that worked with Buhari about how many months ago, that was in APC? Even Rahul Haregbe-Shola and the rest of them in ADC now. Amici worked with Buhari. All of them work with Buhari. Yes, they let them say there's no government. We know right from time there's been no government right from 2014 to date. So his own government this was is inclusive. They caused this whole problem for all of us right from 2015 when they came in. The whole thing got exacerbated. Under Buhari. They couldn't tackle insecurity, bad policies of government from that time even till now. So it's like it kept on calling the pot black, or maybe jumping from frying pan to fire. I don't know what this like I used to describe what the man is talking about, but it's shared politics. He cannot say there's no government. If he thinks there's no government in place, let him go and plan a coup. They know arrest him and execute him. If he thinks there's no government in place, that is what I'm asking him to do, because there's government in place. You might say the government is bad or the government is not doing well, but you can't say there's no government in place. There is government in place. There's if you commit crime now, you go in for it. So the government will tell you that they are doing their best as we have a president, a sitting president, and whether we like it or not, he's our president. He may not be doing very fantastically well. He may not be doing well at all, but he is there until they change him or they remove him from office through the ballot by 2027, or maybe if he returns, as the case may be. So there's government in Nigeria, in my own opinion. So because Tinubu made such scathing remarks in 2014, does not mean that you regurgitate what he has said now, vomit it again. It means that these people don't even think. I don't even know what exactly he has said here now. Insecurity, an issue of whatever is ravaging Nigeria, all Nigerians. Is it only Kwara, whatever? Even in my place, I don't say where I come from. My only two town, which is city place where we used to go and pluck fruits, and we can't go there any longer now because Fulanis have overtaken the whole place. They kidnapped, and even just about 2 days ago, about two of them that killed our brother, my own cousin, doctors. One of them, they were arrested when they came to the same hospital for treatment when their kid was down. And thank God they were able to spot them, and they were arrested immediately and taken to a police custody. do. On do anything invisible. Then they are them back in different, different umbrella. As that is what. Otherwise, these are people of Nigeria to be a nation till today. So they don't even have that right. What the right of reply? They cannot talk on the that we have. They should and let us. In fact, people try predictive. Please.
And then APC. And the APC promise building on APC was. Now you're saying that some of the people were also of the APC strategy. Some people, how do they say it? Would say, oh, old wine in new wineskin. Right. But then go through the story, right? Getting more was told to withdraw, asking the question, the military to withdraw. Now the Senate did. Nigerians did not have an answer to that. Now we have the case in which people ran into their home. And survivors are saying this attack happened for 10 hours. A responsible security architecture of the country. Apart from who we call out for not doing enough.
I am saying of the opinion, and I reiterate that right 15th date where government.
Okay.
That is my argument. That's my own take. That's my own background. Had a government that from Buhari time we no government and nation that when I telling the that we don't have a government that changed.
Yeah.
You understand? Same position. That is when
there is no government.
We know or we know and that there is no government. There might be governments from date. That is why of the electricity sector that situation is happening there because there will be no government. That is why you have electricity in Nigeria, a steady supply in Nigeria today because of government money from 2015 date. And himself coming to tell us there is a protocol as far as ego and those of so just talking. Eating, what regurgitate, what has been said. It's so new, it's not so it's like he's trying to as a news as a form of distraction so that he will not be culpable and alive. It's true, he's a saint. It's happening. You now see Rufai, see Abdullahi, Mechi. I'm mentioning their names. They were just for the APC time. That brought Buhari to power. That brought Buhari to power from a local to understand. Buhari to power. So it's been on, you know, government and bad governance from 2015 till date. I don't need an Abdullahi tell me that there's no government. We have known that there's no government in Nigeria since, as it be. But I was, you know, put it in a very comic. I said, well, if you government, you try and you know, you find out whatever, no government president. Hunger and starvation. Don't need him or article to starvation. They shouldn't use that as a mantra for politicking. Even if you give them the chance, you not do anything about it. They are the same, the 2 points. But like they them as the 5 finger. So if you will take this one, it's the same or it's different. So it's even the difference is the D. ADC, APC. The difference is just the D and the P. You find that these people are. Is there any way you can extricate, remove an Amechi from APC today? Like, can you remove him from the APC and activities of APC in the last? Can you remove an Erufai? Can you remove from the past? You come on. We are not fools. That's what I'm trying.
All right.
Where you now as a tool win and doing people like a smoke that we think that, oh, this man is talking. Maybe if you give me part, reminding him that is part of the decadent past, that oligarchy that has brought Nigeria to ruination. Yeah, for decades, because you change, does not know, they know who you are.
All right.
So that are just news in my own, you know, so the main is for the economy and put Nigerians on mode because they don't like seeing us happy. That's just the truth of the matter. You want to see us happy, it's not by leaving the political party as case may be. You can come together and say you are going to make sure that in my political party I work to expel bad people from my political party and enthrone good people. But in his party now, if given the opportunity, he's going to elect a bad man that will come and rule Nigeria again. He knows that people like P2OB is there, but he cannot even come for P2OB. Because he knows that the man is going to work with are those people who will satisfy his wants and caprices and, you know, put more money in his pocket. And those people he's going to support. Not even the P2OB of this world, who meanwhile open and close for Nigeria. So these are the things I'm talking about.
All right.
So I don't want them to
Very well.
Put these things like that.
Very well. Moving forward, Senate has announced an emergency plenary sitting for Tuesday, February 10, 2026, amid public controversy over amendments to the Electoral Act. The decision was disclosed in a statement signed by the clerk of the Senate, Emmanuel Odo. The emergency session follows the passage of the Electoral Act Amendment Bill on February 4, during which senators rejected Clause 60, Subsection 3, that sought to make real-time electronic transmission of election results mandatory to INEC's IREF portal, retaining discretionary transfer instead. The move has drawn sharp criticism from civil society groups and opposition figures who see it as a setback for electoral transparency. While Senate President Godswill Akpabio has defended the chamber's position, Tuesday's sitting is expected to revisit the amendment amid sustained public pressure and possible legal challenges. Asims, what is your take on this story?
You see, the point is that the Nigerian political oligarchy are a wicked, strand of politicians. they are a politician that has buccaneering instincts to always deprive the people of the goodies of so-called democracy, open and close. Nigeria does not practice democracy. I have said this over and over and again. I'm saying it. We are not practicing democracy. What we practice in Nigeria is oligarchy and plutocracy. Now, when you put these two together, you find out that who are those who are ruling us today? Because they are not governing us, they are ruling over us. The legislature and the executive and the judicature ought to work for the good of the people. The three arms of government ought to work for the good of the people. Baron Stanley Montesquieu, who propounded the law of separation of powers, succinctly stated why judicature, legislature, etc. must work independent of each other as watchdogging each other and running what they call oversight on each other. And in the hierarchy of the arms of government, the legislature is number 1. That is why they have section 4. The executive is number 2. That's why they have section 5. The judicature is number 6. That's why they have section 6 in our constitution. It is not just in the Nigerian constitution. In the hierarchy of arms of government, legislature is number 1. Why? They make laws that number 5 will execute. They make laws that number 6 will interpret. That tells you how key it is. Edmund Burke has said that a captured legislature brings about autocracy, anarchy, and anomie. That the moment you are able to capture the legislative arm of government or bypass them, you are bringing anarchy. You can see what Trump is doing in America today. He bypassed the Congress. He went and did what? Go and capture a Venezuelan president to his country. Even though I don't like what the man is, the Venezuelan man, drug it as they say. But it was an action that was taken, circumventing and bypassing the legislature. The same thing is happening in Nigeria today. Not just this Akpabio legislature, David Mark that is in ADC today. People forget. Nigerians forget so easily. How this man battled Beavers, the card reader. How the Senate battled the card reader and whatever, and they struggled. INEC introduced that particular mode, and they were seeking consequential approval from the National Assembly. It was a battle because they found that card reader was going to enhance credible election, and many of them in the chambers there knew that with the introduction of such, that their election whatever may be stifled and the chances of coming back to the Senate may be very slim. So they battled it until consequentially Ina came up. Then there was one again, section 18 of whatever, that talking about this resigning, etc. You saw how it happened. This same electronic transmission of results, when it was to be included in the 2022 amendment of the Electoral Act, we saw how they battled against it. So, may I quote him? He stood up in the chambers of the House of Senate and said that the electronic transfer, transfer of whatever from here to this thing may not be possible in his place. That he comes from Borno, that his constituency, there are areas you don't have telephone coverage, network, whatever as case may be. They battled it. Many senators were against it. I don't know who was. I think it was Akpabio. Was it Akpabio that was the Senate president then? I don't know. That was 2021 when they were to amend the Electoral Act in 2022. You understand the point now? They battled against it until there was public outcry before Section 60 sub 5 was not allowed to flow. And when that was even allowed to flow, A lot of them were against it. Why would this be? Why would this one? Because they felt that it's going to be difficult for them to now come back to the Senate. The same thing is not happening. Look at what has happened. They brought out that same whatever again to amend, because we have found out that Nigeria as a country needs that kind of module for us to operate, at least to have a semblance of credibility, where people will not begin to go to court or begin to argue over results, as the case may be. Some have argued that real-time transmission of results, does not happen in USA, UK, etc., all over, as the case may be. Yes, I agree with them that it is the way and manner they want for them to operate. Brazil does operate real-time transmission of electoral results. But even as it is, must we rely on other people's failure not to do our own whatever? Who told you that if we do real-time transmission that it's going to fail in Nigeria here? Even as it is, I have asked that question. So they are against it. The reason why they are against this is this. Because they know, let me just give a breakdown of just a second. Now let me tell you, what does that mean? This is me, I want to vote. I go out with my PVC. I have done my accreditation. I'll be on the queue. I will vote. But after printing, I drop my ballot paper on the box. I go and maybe hang somewhere. Then when by 4 o'clock, when voting has ended, then the presiding officer, etc., and the workers there, and the INEC ad hoc workers, we begin to count those votes. They begin to count the votes. APC, PDP, whatever. As you score whatever you have scored variously, it might take some time to do manual counting of those particular things. Then you now fill it in that form 6EC something 8A or something like that, where we call the result sheet for governorship, for instance. You now fill APC scored 40, PDP scored 50, ADC scored 100. This one scored the various scores. And all the party agents that participated in that election signed their signature. What this particular real-time is all about is that immediately that form is filled with the various results, I will go to my website now, that is Unit A, Boba, Axis, Obiakpo, local government, whatever. I send my result immediately to INEC. Then the manual papers that the results there are still with me. You understand the point now? Mm-hmm. They are now taken to the collation center so that they can now calculate to see that all things are the same, both in IREP and the one I have here. Now, what is the argument? The real time, what is real time now? Is that they don't want that real time to happen.
Because Nigerians will be seeing it immediately.
That is, the real time is that once you key there, you cannot go and manipulate the result on the other side.
Because it will be keyed at the
it's just like a message. When I send an SMS, if I send you an SMS, it has gone. The moment it shows delivered or not, it will remain in my. You can't delete it because I've already sent it to you. You understand? It's only WhatsApp that when you send, maybe you can delete before the person read or he has not read it. But an SMS, it is whatever is that. Once I send you an SMS, it has left my phone. I cannot delete it. If I've insulted, that insult will come to you, read it and respond. So now what they are now saying is that they don't want that to happen, to be that result to be transmitted immediately there. They will now collect all the papers, go to what they call rack center, where they do collation. It is when they now get there now, they now say River State, they now say one place and begin to collate. So, okay, put it here. Before you know what's going on, manipulations is going to take place there. Because the polling agents who were in Unit 1, polling Unit 1 in the war back there, some of them they've gone home. You understand? So when they are bringing things that their signatures were already forged, as the case may be, it now becomes a problem. They cannot be there to say, no, this is not my signature. That is just what they are arguing about now. That real time is not possible because of network issue, etc., as the case may be. I don't know, it's not going to work for them. So why are they arguing about it? If truly they want that to happen, who told you that there will be no network? And I keep saying this. INEC is one of the richest, election organizing body in the world. One of the richest. If you know how much they have budgeted for INEC, you understand to conduct election. If INEC can do that, why can't INEC have their own transmitting whatever? Like the question I have asked now, why can't INEC, they call it a World Wide Web, whatever, this is not so. The e-hailing people, those who will go by their various, I sit in my house.
And book a ride.
I book a ride. The ride is coming to meet me where I am. Precision meeting, it's meeting me there. They are not working on the website created by the Nigerian Security Organization. They have their own website, or whatever they call it, that they go into. Whenever I go there, I get information from there. It is as, you see, it is MTN, whatever, does not even influence that particular, whatever as case may be. It is their own satellite, whatever they launched. Maybe I don't know how they did it.
Their own app.
Their own app, the app. So why can't INEC have their own app? That yes. I have INEC app on my phone. I have INEC app on my phone.
And you can vote.
And I can vote. And I can even check my result there. So these are the questions that you're talking about. So electronic transmission, real time, he said. But what Akpabio is now saying and his group, and that is what they want to go and affirm tomorrow, is that they want to sit down and explain to Nigerians that they didn't remove electronic transmission.
They want it to be discretionary.
They want it to be discretionary, not automatic. So what do you want to explain to us that we don't know?
But isn't that has always been what it is? It has always been discretionary.
Yes,
so because it's discretionary, you can't enforce it.
You can't enforce it. So they just want it to be there. The only change Nigerians ask for that is that you don't take them to the collation center and now begin to load into your IREP. Do it from your polling unit. Polling unit 1, maybe it's only 200 people that came to vote that day. If out of the 200, APC scored the highest thing, PDP load it from your polling unit 1 into the system and go your way. You understand the point now? Then I can now sit in my house and type and see that my result I saw that was there is the same that I see here. That was what happened in 2023, where the results in the IREF portal was different from the manual collated results. So that is what they want to bring back again, because with the IREF, if you do your manual electronic transmission for your polling unit,
it cannot be manipulated.
It cannot be manipulated. The results will be one. It goes with what you say. You cannot change it. You can't go and alter. This section 60 sub 5. The Senate should also equally inform INEC to also in their guideline and regulation, if they are able to alter as a real-time transmission of results, the Senate should also tell INEC to go to their guidelines and regulations, especially guideline 38(1-3) that talks about electronic transmission. The word real time should also be inserted there so that there will be no conflict between the regulation and the main act itself. You understand the point now? Because if you amend section 60 sub 5, you do not tell INEC to amend their section, their guideline 38 sub 1-3 that deal on electronic transmission of result, giving them that same discretion is going to be a problem again. That is what we are telling them to do right now. So it's a very simple thing in Nigerian Senate. Must you argue over simple things like this? You see, when you see people begin to argue, you know that there's a problem somewhere. It's like students wanting to write jam, dictating to jam. How jam should collect their results. And that is what they are doing. If not because Nigeria is a country, where we allow this kind of a thing to happen, where there's this fusion of powers, the legislator ought to be up above board and say, no, we cannot even dictate to INEC. Because let them do it. If they want to use manual, it's their business. If they want to use e-transmission, any which anytime, let them go ahead and do it. Why are we regulating them? You understand? Like I said, it's like students writing a WAEC or JAM want to give JAM, regulations and instructions on how they conduct their exam. It shouldn't be like that. The reverse should be the case. INEC should be able to do what they want to do as far as it is in accordance with how credible elections should be done and with the law. Not you dictating to them. Electoral Act, what does the Electoral Act mean? In my own opinion, that is where the corruption is coming from. Why do you have Electoral Act in the first instance? To do what? Let INEC control their elections, because Electoral Act is where the manipulation and control of INEC has come from. That is where it has come from. So if you allow the Senate to always control Electoral Act, and Electoral Act is the one guiding INEC, then we can never have credible election in Nigeria today. Rather, let the INEC chosen determine by way of their guidelines, just the way JAMB does theirs, just the way WAEC do their own. The only time we condition and whatever you have to meet as candidate, to write their exam. That is what INEC should be doing, in my own opinion. I don't know exactly why we model up things here. So the Senate, I don't know what you're going to discuss tomorrow. If you are discussing tomorrow, you must have to make sure that there's real time, the other real time, whatever as case may be.
In INEC guideline.
INEC guideline and even the main body. But even at that, Nigerians are smart alerts. They are artful dodgers. Do you know I've seen a way that they can still manipulate that system?
Of course.
They can still manipulate it. If people put real time there, the people who are there they will still manipulate it. They will still manipulate because somebody is guiding INEC. Somebody is guiding INEC.
INEC is not independent.
If you look at the Electoral Act, prescribed in the manner that is as the Commission desires, all over of it. So the Electoral Act itself is too much a guiding instrument to INEC. They can't have credible elections.
All right.
At this point in time.
All right. Moving forward, allegations by the president of the Nigerian Bar Association, Afam Osigwe SAN, that court judgments are often influenced by bribes rather than evidence have sparked sharp divisions within the legal community. Osigwe described judicial corruption as a moral crisis and democratic emergency, threatening public confidence in justice delivery. While some senior lawyers backed his claims, citing surveys by UNODC, MBS, and ICPC that revealed massive bribes within the justice sector, others cautioned against sweeping generalizations. Live bencher Joe Keare Gadzama, SAN, challenged Osigwe to name affected judges and provide details to support the allegations, warning against damaging the reputation of innocent jurists. Other SANs and rights advocates acknowledge corruption, but stress that many judges remain upright, attributing poor judgments in some cases to workload pressures, politicized appointments, and systemic flaws. They called for merit-based recruitment, accountability, and balanced public discourse to reform the judiciary without undermining trust in the institution. Asim, this is your forte. What is your take on this?
I have practiced law for 34 years now. I'm a member of the Nigerian Bar Association. Registered with the Nigerian Bar Association branch, Port Harcourt. I have all my instruments of registration, my credentials. I am sick. I'm very tired of this corruption in the judiciary, the culture where we belong. And in this wise, if the NBA president of a noble association like the NBA could come out and openly deride the judicature by way of people saying he has said the truth. Yes, we know that is the truth of the matter. It should go beyond the truth. And for example, name and shame some of the judges. Because before running to a conclusion of this nature, is not going to be based on assumptions. As a highly placed, public opinion molder, the onus is on him. I support Joe Gazama. The onus is on him. If he does not make those things publicly, he can, by way of through the other way, list those names and send to NJC or send to, some very senior lawyers in Nigeria for them to pick them up from there. Because when you make a scathing remark with a weighty, a balance like this, in fact, the judiciary, nobody will ever have trust in the judiciary again. If you want to say that, they will say your president of the Nigerian Bar Association innocent it. If a man of such high repute can come out openly to say that there's corruption in the judiciary and his brand envelope, whatever against me, that's a weighty one. What I mean weighty allegation, in India, in America, in UK, the practicing lawyers association chairman or president coming out to make such statements, they're going to call him to order and say, please, we're happy that you come out to say the truth. You cannot just make assumptions. Please, can you give us list of or one or two people you feel that are in this particular whatever? Because you must prove. He that alleges must prove. Otherwise, it's going to be a bad omen for judiciary. I know that yes, judiciary in Nigeria is corrupt. Not all of them, though. I have seen a lot of, judges who are above board in my 34 years of practice. I've seen judges who have gone out of their ways to do justice, even if hell is falling down or heaven is falling down. I have seen judges who have stood their ground, rejecting offers from anywhere. I have also seen judges who have been under the influence and they recuse themselves and say, no. There was a matter I was handling at the High Court in Port Harcourt. It was a criminal matter. I still give that judge the kudos today. Now, immediately the charge or the matter was assigned to that judge. We didn't even take the plea because we was going to take the plea of the defendant, whether he's guilty or not. It was not even read to him. The judge of the High Court saw it and called us and said he had already prepared his notes of recusal and said that please, he does not want to handle this matter. And he gave his reasons that the victim of the offense for which my client is being charged, that the person is somebody he knows very well and is from the same village, so that he will not participate in it. You can see integrity. He rose above board and recused himself without we even knowing. That is integrity. That judge is still in the High Court today. But how many people we go there and praise him and even say they uplift him, show him love, and maybe give him reward? Nobody, as the case may be. I also know of a particular judge who is upright in my own hometown, but he died of penury. He died in penury, because he could not even take care of himself. But a High Court judge is no High Court judge. Those people, that was the one that mentored us, that we even had to say, go, let us go and attempt reading law. He died like that. But he was very upright. He was unblemished. So we have people like that who are all over in the judicature. They should be rewarded. My take to my own learned silk president of the Bar Association is for him to name and shame, because that is one of the punitive measures that the judiciary or the NJC or let me say the judicature must take to purge the judiciary of corruption. You understand? Mm-hmm. Because one of the ways, the solution of making things right is for you to name and shame judges who are corrupt. We have heard this story. The judges took bribe. This one took a brown envelope. But I have not really seen a judge who took bribe. I would have exposed the person. If I know anybody told me that this is a judge, I will expose the judge. So if the NBA president in his high office could come out to say that judges are corrupt, that's a very, very weighty allegation. It's a weighty allegation. Do you know that in that kind of allegation, it can even lead to the fall and danger. It can even place judges in danger. Because every judge now will be regarded as a corrupt person. With this statement he has made. So it's a weighty one that I'm calling on him, with due respect to his office, to name and shame judges, because he's talking with so much affirmation. And listen to him. He didn't gesticulate. His mien was corroborative of his affirmation, of his investigation. And the submission he gave was not verbose. It was straight to the point. It was meticulously researched. And to come before, a man like the Rap Okpara Foundation, the man they went for that occasion, they went to honor memorial. The man, Rap Okpara, was one of the founders of Sea Dogs in Nigeria. He was a man of integrity. So if you are talking of integrity, then you must have to be open and be bold. That particular fight against corruption should start from the president of Nigeria Bar Association. I call on him to please name and shame judges from his investigation that have been found wanting, that are taking fat, envelope. That is one. After my demand for him to name and shame, he may not come out publicly. Let him go before the NJC, write a petition. As the president of Bar Association, he has the right, intrinsic right under our laws, to do what? Write a petition against those judges he felt that are corrupt before he made that submission to the NJC to do what? Punish them. Aside of his statement, it is not a hidden fact that people have said judiciary is corrupt. Do you know that in those days, what used to happen is that some Ugboni people, some secret court people will tell you that they buy cases. In my village, there was a particular, man. He was not wealthy, but he was very stubborn. Not really stubborn, but he was so powerful. He was an influence peddler. He peddled influence that he belonged to a secret court in those days. That there is no matter of the manner of a case you have in the courtroom that he cannot go and work out and get results for you. So my parents were submitting and paying obeisance to him. He was even collecting fees like the Boko Haram people do now. And whenever he talks, people listen to him without attention and with fear. You understand? He was just like the goddess Odus. Once you come around there, he will terrify and mystify you. Why? He said he had connection with judiciary in the then Midwest. You're in my own community. So, and the man, because of his dexterity and the way he handled matters of that nature corruptly, I didn't know it is now, I'm just trying to understand, to influence judgment, they now started calling him lawyer. You understand the point? So corruption has been there. He will tell you that you have this land case. Once the man steps in, the case is won. So corruption in the judiciary has been there for a very long time. You understand? But nobody has been able to confront, or fight the corruption in the judiciary. That is, and nobody has been able to make it bare and open. Like, Alpha Mosigwe, the learned Honorable Sheikh, has been able to do justice to that particular topic. And I know that he must have made, research copiously and studiously for him to have reached that conclusion. In the course of his research, a number of files may have come or complaints may have come to his table. He should expose those people and let us know, so that it does not put the whole judiciary into mishaps that will be very dangerous for us, and even as the case may be. I have been in a place where I look at it, I say, what kind of situation is this? It's just like, is it reaffirming what Dick the Butcher? You know, if you've heard about, if you study about literature in those days, when you read A Tale of Two Cities, said Dick the Butcher, you know, said that the best way for us to have a sane and a saner society is for us to kill all the lawyers. You understand the point? Because they got so overwhelmed by the corrupt tendencies and overbearing and overzealous and overreaching tendencies of legal or lawyers at that time. So in anger, I said, I think it's best for us to kill all the lawyers so that we can have a sane society. With this kind of statement, I hope we are not drifting towards our side. That is why you see me, if I leave the courtroom, I hide my wig and my beeps, you know, somewhere that you will not even notice that I'm into, you know, practice, because it is becoming a very dangerous minefield for lawyers now. With this story and this kind of affirmative, you know, conclusion, you know, resolved by the NBA president, that means that we are all in danger. As case maybe you see, the people will no longer have, you know, trust in the judiciary anymore with the statements.
But the trust, one would say to a large extent, the trust deficit has been there a very long time ago. So it's not new that if one should say Nigerians don't have trust. That's why when there are issues, you see politicians who say go to court. Go to court is now a slogan. Go to court. Even within everyday Nigerians, they will tell you go to court because, I mean, and there is also this statement that we usually say it's usually said in pidgin, so I'll say it like that. No be who go court, they win case. So now you are aggrieved and you go to court, but you know that
you go to court. And let me tell you,
there is no guarantee.
Let me tell you, my sister Leverage, do you know that when people begin to talk about corrupt, you know, judges, most of these people who have been indicted are in just political matters. Mostly are political matters.
Okay.
You have seen situations where a judge the other day, you know, gave an interim injunction. Where is the interim injunction today? Just to stop a process. You understand the point now? A constitutional process, a judge knows the implication of his fighting. He just goes there by ex parte order interim. He gives it just to stunt the movement of that particular whatever, to create confusion or whatever. Now you think that kind of judge may have taken something to do that. So that is it is real, we know. So most judges have been indicted based or because of political matters. I have seen a situation, for instance, it beats my whole lot, because when I see the NBA president saying this now, I agree with him, but I'm saying that we must do something about it. The Bayelsa conundrum, which is still today, I cannot really fathom out and understand, where a man was voted by the people. The man won the election, there was no contestation, he said he's the winner. But the court came and installed a different candidate. The man didn't commit the offense for which the deputy was being, say because he joined. I don't say what kind of explanation can you give in that kind of situation? So for me, I believe yes, they've been there. Like I said, in my village, there was a man that was so powerful that he would tell you that he will get judgment for you through judiciary. But we have not done something to really shame or name and shame the people. That is the step I want him to take. Not that he's not saying the truth, we know he's saying the truth, but let him take the step. Let me give for an example now. Do you know that armed robbery used to be called highway robbery in those days? They say highway robbery because they were only robbing on the highways.
Yes.
But it now came to a point in the 70s, after the Civil War, people had a lot of arms, you know, with them and all those things. So they now transferred from highway robbery to house robbery, killing people, etc. It became rampant. That you wake up in the morning, you see dead body on the road. They say the man was robbed and killed by some people. The military regime, seeing what was happening, now decided it is time for us to do something. That was how that execution, firing squad, whatever, was now, if you are caught as an armed robber, Whether the tribunal find you guilty or not, they execute you to see if it serve as deterrent to other people not to get involved. The same thing we are asking now, that there should be, a way that this particular, honorable sake now, as an influential man, is the number one lawyer now by virtue of his position. Is the number one lawyer by 40,000, 50,000 lawyers. So it's assumed he's speaking for the lawyers. So if we agree with him that yes, corruption cases has been there, we also prod him and say, Oga, please help us name some of those people in your investigation. He cannot tell me that while he's seated there, that petitions have not come to him as an NBA chairman from within or without of corrupt judges. So let him go beyond, making a general statement to not name and shame. He may not come out openly, but let him write to the NJC, or he calls those body of science and whatever, and throw the list to them and say, what do we do to this list? We found out that this person, this judge, so that to extricate and remove those who is not a blanket cover. That is why I say I support Joe Gazama's, postulation and request. I'm aligning my argument or my support with his own whatever, as case may be. Yes, we know we are corrupt. Corruption comes in so many ways. Judges are human beings, as case may be. So we are not ruling out corruption. You understand? We are not ruling out corruption. It's very obvious that some judges and those on the bench, some of them are very corrupt. But do we say because they are corrupt, we allow them to be like that? Or we just say that all judges are corrupt? No. We should go beyond and do what they call name and shame. And with a view to prosecute those who are found. No judge has been it's only one judge I saw that I think EFCC arrested that judge, one of the federal high court judges in Lagos. They tried her and all those things. I think at the end of the day they found out that he was not culpable also, and she was let off the hook. Let them try and name and shame, bring those judges. If you are found wanting or whatever, prosecute them and send them to jail. When the judge now goes to jail, the other judges who are participating in corruption will now know that there's the measures now. It's not serious. They'll now begin to say, I don't want to take money again. No. And even lawyers, like what he was saying in his conclusion, he said that even lawyers, and the lawyers who are the lawyers are the people who belong to his ranks, the highest echelon of lawyers, as they call themselves, who say they are above the law. They are the ones who have the influence most times to go and meet judges. Even lawyers. You find that a lawyer that is not a senior advocate will have a job now or a brief now. The client begin to ask him, are you a senior advocate? If you are not a senior advocate, please help us look for a senior advocate to handle that matter. Because they believe that once a senior SAN enters the court, the matter has a 50% won. In the sense that the SAN can also rub shoulders with the judge outside and in chambers. As case may be, as a top-ranking man of whatever. And if a son comes to the judge's office or chamber, say he does not even know him, say he's one Mr. A son. The judge will stand up and want to go and greet him and show him that respect. So he was even condemning some of his colleagues in the hierarchy of senior advocates that they go cap in hand to go and influence judgments. You should know some of them too. So once those people are found out, the judges will name those who brought the envelopes for them. From there, we now take that step to sanitize the judiciary. Because for now, it's a murky one. Everybody will see us as every judge is corrupt. But that is not true.
All right. Thank you so much, Barrister Sim Adams. It's a pleasure having you, and thank you for doing justice to this.
Thank you. God bless you.
All right, and thank you so much, our viewers, for always staying connected to us. And this is where we wrap it up on this episode of Open Conversation. We are open for sponsorship of the program, advert placements, news, events, coverage, and commercials. Watch us live on our website, www.atlanticnetwork.tv. On Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network. You can also watch us on Avo TV, Niger TV, and Efastech TV platform. You can connect with us on our social media by subscribing, like, and share. Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network. Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1. And on X, Atlantic TV Net. Do not forget, peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Thank you for watching. I am Laurentia Ogu. See you same time tomorrow. Bye for now.